What's up, gang? Brad here with another recording log. This is number 4, and the drums are pretty much done. I think there's one song we're gonna have to revisit because we did all the songs, but musically, one of them isn't fitting well now that I've kind of lived with the song and listened to the drum beat and done an assessment as an artist. I think I'm gonna go back and have Noah play something different. So that's where the drums are. Everything we do have sounds really good as I go through and record more and add to it and sort of flesh out the songs, hear how they're going to sound. I'm feeling like just my simple drum recording setup is working really well. It's going to sound cool. So that's exciting. Right now, moving on to the long road of tracking ukulele, which is basically the same setup I did for my album Point A when I did my first instrumental EP. I spent a lot of time messing with mics and playing with the ukulele sound. And I started psyching myself out and, moving the mic an inch and then an inch and then an inch and then an inch. And at the end of the day, I took a break from that nitpicky experimenting and just listened back to some of the stuff I had done, and I went, oh wow, this actually sounds really good. So I kind of figured out a default general area of mic placement and have kind of gone with that over the years as I've recorded other little projects here and there, and it's always turned out pretty well. And it doesn't need a whole lot of doctoring. I use a Neumann KM184 as my ukulele mic. It's a little small diaphragm condenser. Nice stuff, but I'm of the opinion that if you're gonna want it and you're gonna need it, you might as well spend the money now and just have it. And it's an investment in your future, as people like to say. So I got the Neumann. That goes, I don't know, like maybe 8 inches in front of my ukulele, angled at say 30 degrees from myself as I'm sitting down and looking at the instrument. It's going to be like 30 degrees to the left, pointing about at the 12th fret of my instrument and about level up and down with where the fretboard is. So some things that you can do to change the sound if you're recording and setting up a mic like that is if you move the mic upwards and you aim it so that the angle is aiming down onto the top of the ukulele. So like say you're aimed directly straight on at the 12th fret and you move the microphone up so that it points down on the 12th fret, you're going to capture a little bit more of the low end sounds of the instrument. I've found, this is just my experimenting on my instruments, but from what I've found, you move the mic up and aim it down, you get a little bit of a lower, more warm, round sound. And if you move it down so that it's pointing up on the ukulele, you get a little bit more of a bright sound. Also, as you move the mic off axis and you lean it more so that you're aiming it further up the neck. The further up the neck you aim it, the more string noise you get and fretting noise and picking noise, just because that's kind of the range where those notes ring, I guess. And then, or you're getting the sound removed from the vibrating body. And vice versa, if you move the microphone so that it's aimed more over the body, you're going to get more of a woofy sound that's just the vibrating wood of the sound box. So those are kind of the two different axes you can move the microphone on to get different mic tones. But for me, what I've found is about, I don't know, anywhere from 15 to 30 degrees to my left as I'm sitting down looking at the mic, and then pretty much level pointed at the 12th fret from about 6 or 8 inches away. That's worked well for me. From there, I also plug in a DI. So for me and my ukulele, I always run through the Bags Venue DI, which is a super great piece of equipment. If you perform at all, I'd highly recommend considering getting it. It's just does lots of good stuff, and I would hate to play a gig without it. But I set that to flat. Normally when I perform, I have some EQ movements that I make, but when I'm recording right into the box, I've got everything flat so that when I go to edit things, I can just do that in my DAW program, and it's gonna be I can do all that stuff in the program, and what I'm getting right out of the DI send is just a pure straight ukulele plug-in signal. So I find that the mix between the mic and the DI sort of gets you the best of both worlds. The mic gets the nice shimmery upper end, and then the DI can kind of fill in some of the low end stuff and a little bit of pick attack. And usually when I mix, I'm going to have the mic higher than the DI. The DI is like 2/3 of where the mic is at any given point, usually on the track, depending on the sound I'm going for. But that's my general rule and general idea for miking and plugging in the ukulele and recording that. And so each of those goes onto its own track. Like I think I've said before, I have a 2-channel interface, so that loads me up there. If I had another channel, I might try a second microphone and still use the DI just to have more options. But this is good. It's simple. I don't run into phase issues because I've only got the one mic, and yeah, it seems to work. I've used it for years now, I can say, and it's always turned out decently. The one thing about the Neumann is that it tends to be kind of a bright microphone, so I actually sent one of the tracks to Noah and asked him what he thought, and he said right off the bat, the first thing he said is the ukulele is too bright. So when I get to mixing, I'm gonna have to probably bring down the highs a little bit on the Neumann just to mellow things out a little bit. But that's no big deal. Other than that, it's a great mic sound. Really, really great ukulele mic and acoustic guitar mic. Always done me well. So I think I'm gonna break this log into a couple pieces because it's been a long time and I've been sort of in the recording zone. And when you're in the zone, you don't stop to make videos and tell people what you're doing because you're just doing it. But yeah, gonna move on and do number 5, talk about some of the other steps I've been doing and maybe the songs, maybe even preview a couple of the songs I've been working on. So yeah, that's it for number 4. That's my ukulele mic setup, and the drums are pretty much